All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar. Got a mailbox. You want to mail me some comics or a festive Christmas beanie? So upcoming, the American Society of Magical, I'll say ninjas for the YouTube algorithm. I'm not sure what they allow. I did get in trouble on Twitter for saying that word. I didn't know it was a problem word. Shamelessly describes the beautiful people of the light, people responsible for most of the awesome things you're using today, as the most dangerous animal on the planet, which is objectively not true. But before we continue, take that word white and imagine substituting any other group on Earth, and I have some suggestions, but I guess I won't say them on YouTube. Honestly, a video like this is just about impossible for someone like me to do on YouTube. So the magical ninja, or really the deeper issue, is why YouTube removed the downvote button, because it's for stuff like this. It's because left-wing pop culture and left-wing politics aren't popular when Biden got into office. 81 million votes. How come the left doesn't support his live streams? Weird, isn't it? So the premise of the movie, just don't say anything in the comments. I know it's insane. Obviously, it's insane. We're all taking crazy pills together. But if you're an accelerationist, movies like this are freaking awesome. Anything that gets the liberal wine mom, San Francisco, Tesla driving normie to kind of have a come to Jesus moment, an epiphany to go down the rabbit hole. Anything that does that, movies like this and The Woman King are good examples too, because they learn the actual history, and then they watch the movie like, even a liberal can't deal with level of gaslighting like that. Anyway, so I don't know if I can say this joke on YouTube, probably not. The magical ninja exists to make people's lives easier. I'll just skip it. Anyway, so I totally support movies like this. By all means, accelerate the liberal into joining the far right wing. Hollywood here is actually doing the Lord's work. And these movies encourage these type of movies. Encourage liberals to go see these movies. See how much of the humiliation ritual they can put up with. These movies we're not like, touch grass, my guy. You're so pressed. Yikes. You can hear I'm not angry. We're not angry at these ridiculous movies because we know the bigger picture that's going on, part of the humiliation ritual. And there's a lack of self-awareness of the people who are producing these movies and funding these movies. That's kind of its own interesting phenomenon, is that they don't see themselves as we see them. But by all means, accelerate the liberal into the far right wing. So what happens is the puppet masters allow the puppets to push a certain narrative as long as it's not exactly on target. And the funny thing is, the guy doing the interview is talking about this movie and Hollywood tropes and how horrible Hollywood is, as if, I guess, people in general are going to defend. He's trying to he just hates people if you're being dissent. And he's confusing a lot of different groups of people, and he's just calling them all white. So he has a very loose definition, but we have a much tighter definition. So it's like this stuff isn't applying to us. So he's talking about how horrible Hollywood is, and it's like, we're looking at him like, oh yeah, we totally agree, dude. Hollywood is evil. It's controlled by demons. And he's like, I'm insulting you. Like, you're not insulting us. But that's not really his point. He's careful to talk about all the evil white people in Hollywood. He's talking about writers and how bad Hollywood writers have been for writing the magical ninja characters. But he specifically says how bad the white writers in Hollywood are. Again, it's a moment of the meme is anyone going to tell him? Just don't say anything in the comments. This video is really iffy as is. I mean, like, all you speak of euphemisms and dog whistles. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. So there are these different aspects of the culture war, but you have people at different levels of the rabbit hole. So occasionally the bullshit idiots on the left will make a point that wasn't intended. In this case, Mr. Nick, if he's not careful, Cannon over here is making an own goal, but only about half the people get it. By all means, Mr. Pox director, let's talk about how evil Hollywood foments discord. People talk about people talk about a lot of things, and the left wing was mad at the writer's strike, and the other strike from Hollywood. And whenever I talk to them on Twitter, I go, yeah, you ever consider just boycotting Hollywood? And it's like they couldn't go there. They're like, whoa, we need our shows. You really don't. I mean, what's the worst? There's a lot of left-wing people who are addicted to shows. They got to have their bread in circuses. And the thing is, the puppet masters want you distracted. They never want you silent and contemplative. Otherwise, you might notice these string pullers in their Machiavellian ways that they're trying to get people to hate each other, to grow the tall grass, to fight amongst ourselves, so we don't notice the people who are benefiting in the background, or sending money overseas, but secretly their coffers are being enriched. So yeah, obviously the premise of the movie is insane. It's part of the humiliation ritual for the white liberals who might be tempted to go see this movie. It's roughly about his fear of European Americans, because his concept is that the people of the light, you and I, are dangerous to his tribe. It's hard to say that and keep a straight face. Don't say anything for Fig McDeer or Penfold, are the two super base guys whose comments YouTube always hides. Anyway, in what universe are the people of the light a threat to him? You want to know what Pac's privilege is? The ability for puppet masters to allow him to make a movie like this, as long as the target is, quote, white people. Yes, I know it's ridiculous. So the magical ninjas go around making life easier for them. Okay. So what level of echo chamber do you need to be in to have this level of hubris and lacking self-awareness? There is nobody in a deeper echo chamber of privilege than a Pax in Hollywood. And we're not talking about the low-ranking Latin or Asians ones. We're talking about the top of the Pax food chain. And the Asians are learning too sweet about to stay in their lane by these the people who are way above them. The only thing that is at the absolute top is probably the BLT community. And here's because they put themselves at the top. They're the ones who are writing most of the articles that controls the narrative. So credit to them for taking charge. I wish more of our guys would get involved in the culture war, write articles, or anyway. So support me over at Subscribestar, and you can write articles too. Here's the thing: movies like this are awesome. The liberal BLM normie needs to see how much they hate you. I was thinking about starting like a newsletter and getting people to write for it, except we wouldn't get any advertisements, so that would be kind of a problem. They need to really deeply understand it, that there is no meeting in the middle and that they should stop bothering. You can't meet goalposts when they keep moving them. Stop trying. The people you're dealing with are not arguing in good faith and fair dealings. They're bad people who hate you. It's okay to have a come to Jesus moment, put on the they live glasses and realize like everything is inverted. It's okay to understand that differences are irreconcilable. The liberal needs to get tribal, to just admit globalism is weakness. So one of the points the idiot makes is how Pac's characters are used in movies to hold up the protagonist, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because in any movie, even a Pac's movie, the protagonist, the supporting characters, are there to support the main character. But if you want to go ahead and make Pac's movies for Pac's people, the more people start to separate out their entertainment, by all means. I totally agree. It's weird how the left is moving back into separation. Like, hey, we're all on board with that. Oh, no. It's histophobic when you say it. How is it histophobic? It's not. If you guys are on board with it, we're on board with it. Let's make it happen. I totally agree that there should be different movies for different tribes. Movies just for Pacs, like the Wakanda Black Panther type of movies, and just for Europeans. That sounds like a great way to get people back to the big screen. Obviously, nothing matters with Hollywood. It's all globalist, demonic, anti-white propaganda, which I totally support, because anything that gets the average Karen to start hating is great, because it's good to hate people who hate you. You just, like, if you're the average, Tesla San Francisco liberal, you really got to see the way of the world. And we're doing our best to try to get Mr. and Mrs. Normie to have a rabbit hole moment where their world inverts, and they see that many of these activist groups that they virtue signal for absolutely hate them, because then we can send them down the rabbit hole as fast as possible. And I will say that BLM thing over the past few years, a few of those people had some kind of awakening, because they saw that the money they donated, including Sharon Osbourne, just went to people's pockets. BLM, it got billions of dollars. People think it's just millions of dollars. No, it's actually got billions of dollars, because it got corporate donors too. But where'd the money go? And people looking around like, oh, they bought homes for themselves. Yeah, like a half dozen people benefited. You're like, but that was Bank of America, and Soros himself donated hundreds of millions of dollars. Shouldn't you have done something with it? You guys you stole the money, didn't you? It's like, yeah, we stole the money. And people had a little bit of an awakening to that. But I mean, not enough, because Hollywood liberals, awakening them is a challenge. So these these Hollywood entities really are demonic, but the Achilles heel is they lack self-awareness. They do a movie like this, which doesn't bother us in our area of, I don't know if you want to call the left or the right or a third position or another dimension to the chart. It's like identity politics. It's just that all groups are starting to have identity politics. So it's not really right or left issue. It's like tribalism. The thing is, we're already down the rabbit hole. We're not trying to talk to people who hate us. We want to avoid them. We've become very tribal, like these groups are tribal. And movies like this is ice water in the face for the liberal who will suddenly look at us, their tribe, and then look at these people who hate them and wonder why they are trying to virtue signal for people that hate them. There are no goalposts. Hollywood and the people in it, they're just istophobic, except they're anti-white. And my remaining time on the mainstream social media platforms is to try to get the liberal, the normie on the left and the right to understand it, because there are a lot of the MAGA types who are just as clueless as the left-wing types. We have to get the normies to stop trying to please the woke crowds, stop supporting these anti-whites in all forms, which means all of Hollywood. And, the removal of the downvote is kind of its own video. It's kind of like a they live moment where YouTube's probably the biggest video sharing platform on earth, and Google's the biggest search engine. It's a huge control of the narrative, and by eliminating downvotes, they're massaging the narrative so people don't see how unpopular left-wing ideas are. And it's actually more serious, and it should be a little bit scary. Just start your own multi-billion-dollar company. It's like, yeah, then Google come along and buy it, because they bought YouTube in, I don't know, 2012 or something, or Facebook will come along and buy Instagram. It's like, isn't that some antitrust stuff? Like, don't we have a federal government to break up things like this? Yeah, the federal government is taking your tax money and sending it to foreign countries, but half of it's going in their own pocket. Vote harder next time? Sure. That makes you feel better. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, form your local IRL exercise groups, and I will see you guys all next episode.